Great win Saturday for our guys. Great to do it in Pittsburgh. Kind of moved on from it, moving on to Syracuse, and got a big road trip up there this week. And there was good plays on Saturday, bad plays. Again, like I said, after watching tape, quarterback was a really good football player. They got good targets. They did a nice job. It really hurt when Savasier was out of there for sure, as you watch. We just didn't move fast enough to the receivers, and they do a nice job. They put you in some binds, and they're good. We had 9 explosives on offense. Offense was explosive, we had more explosives than they did, and that's the key. So good things on offense, defense, special teams. Questions?
Coach a guy not to avoid targeting. What do you as a coach?
You trying to get me mad today or what?
No, I want you to be happy.
Jerry, we haven't had one all year. 10 games, 0, and then all of a sudden, we have 2. Just mysterious targeting calls. So that's all. We coach good. That's what we do, and it's disappointing. So.
Does it force you to make any adjustments?
No adjustments. Someone else got to make adjustments. We need to play football.
That safety spot, Brandon not being able to go in the first half, is it you think Jug fills in?
We'll see. I mean, that would be the first thought right now, but we'll see how they practice this week and see how we go.
Somebody brought it to my attention yesterday that when after Paul left, Randy Jules said, if Pitt can cure polio, we can sure as hell win 10 football games in the season. You're on the cusp of doing that. You have the potential to do that for the first time. I'm just sort of curious, do you view that number as a separator in terms of how well a season goes?
Not really. I mean, you can have a good season and win less, or you can have a bad season, maybe win more. I've been impressed with the way our kids have played. I think the competition, you look at how big that Clemson win is right now. I mean, just how well they're playing. And you look at who they've gotten beat by. They haven't gotten beat by just a bunch of average teams. So it's who you're beating. It's that Tennessee win is a good win. So it's who you're beating, and I think and then who did you get beat by too? So you look at that too. So like to sit here and say we're an 11-team win right now, but can't.
I believe this is the first time it's been ranked as the highest ACC team since joining the conference. Does that mean anything to you at this point in the season?
Not really. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. We want to win a championship. We don't want to win a coastal division, so that's our goals. And rankings don't mean anything. You tell me what they matter at the end of the year. If you say at the end of the year you're in the top 20 or top 10 or top 5, whatever it is, that means something. But until the end of the year, it really doesn't mean anything. You guys tell me the weekly rankings don't. What do they mean? I mean, you see Oregon's up there number 4, and and again they're down. You can go down. Michigan State's up there; they're down. So I mean, it doesn't matter. Where you are mid-season, the end of the season, is what matters.
Can you take that into kids' living rooms though?
At the end of the season, you can. I'm not going to walk in the living room saying, "Hey, after week 11 we were ranked, but we didn't finish there." It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not taking a mid-season ranking into the home. I can guarantee you that. And then they'll be like, "Hey, what happened, Coach?" It's like,
what do you like about the way you guys have handled success? Because you've been, especially since the Clemson one, you've sort of like established that, hey, maybe this is the team that Coastal this year. And the Miami game was tight, but I mean, other than that, you guys have handled the business.
Well, I always say, you learn from your mistakes, and we did not handle success well against Western Michigan or against Tennessee going into that Western Michigan game. So, you try to, teach them a lesson. I said back then, might be the best thing to happen. I'd rather lose that game than an ACC game, and I think we'd probably all agree here in November, at the end of November, that that's the case. But our guys just didn't play well that day, period. We didn't execute. We turned the ball over, and and again, that's coming from success at Tennessee, and then all of a sudden you think you're pretty good, and you're not. So you're only as good as you are that last outing, and you got to go out and execute, to beat anybody, or anybody can beat you. So.
They gotten better, but since that, I mean.
Yes, they've learned. They've learned. We'll find out this week. Can they get another one? I mean, it's a weekly thing. They learn, and then do they slide back into that? That hey, we're good again, like we're a champion. Like it don't matter. Coastal championship. We've done that already. It doesn't matter anymore. It mattered, I think, a couple years ago. it doesn't anymore.
Does that speak to the way the standard within the program is maybe changed and the level of expectation? I know you expected to win when you got here,
Yeah.
but this is different.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does. And again, I think when you win, a coastal championship and you win it the next time, it doesn't mean as much because it's like, we're trying to take that next step. And, you have to win an ACC championship to be anything. And that's just the way it is. And our kids have a different attitude about that now, too, I think.
You've been around long enough to know that rankings only matter at the end of the year, but is it still something that the current players can get excited about or look at each week?
They could, and it could cause you to get beat on Saturday, too. So, no doubt about it. But, it's something that we don't talk about in here, and we just, as coaches, as a whole, have to do a great job of, grounding them and making sure, want to go win number 10. Want to be 1-0 this week, and then we'll worry about, the next one.
When you look at it globally, or a Mike Tomlin expression, the good news is there's parity within the league. I mean, teams have chances to win. That's a great thing. The flip side of that is when December 5th comes and they have that TV show and they announce the top 4 teams for the first time since they started this, an ACC team won't be in it.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's Florida State the first year and then Clemson.
How do you know that they won't be in it?
A lot of stuff would have to happen.
Well, a lot of things do happen. A lot of things do happen. So you don't know. I mean, who knows what happens on these weekends? Who knows who gets COVID? Who knows who doesn't handle success very well? I mean, anything can happen. You look at Oregon going down, Michigan State going down. Who knows? I would never say it ain't going to happen, but chances aren't as good maybe this year compared to when Clemson's in the Final Four. Going into, but so many things are going to happen in championship games. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, those playoff ranks are going to change after championship games. I'm guessing, right? Don't they? Or I don't look at them, but
I guess what I'm asking is what's happening in the league this year, which is good for the league. I mean, you've got on the other side of the bracket now for the first time in a while. There's it's always the coastal that's up for grabs last week, and this time it's the other side. You have parity, or at least what appears to be parity. That's good for the league. To have schools think they have a shot. Does this make a case for why there should be an expanded playoff? Because if you win this league, you should be in whatever they determine the playoff, no matter what your regular season record's like.
I would agree, yes. And I've gone back from the 4. They go from 2 to 4. Is it 8? Is it 10? Is it 12? I don't know what it is, but they'll figure it out. I'm not going to worry about it. It won't matter this year for sure, but I think it does. I think it opens things up for other teams to have an opportunity to be in that conversation for sure.
That's your thought, because an ACC kickoff back in July, you said you were in favor of expanding that. Have you waffled back and forth?
Yes,
between that?
I have. I've gone back and forth, so I won't get into why, but there's all kinds of different reasons why. And it's not, again, there's so many reasons why. I mean, first of all, what do the kids like? What do the kids not want to do? The health and safety of our players. I mean, it's a long season. Are you cutting games? Are you going back to 11 to get to this model? I mean, there's just so many things that we don't need to talk about. I'm worried about Dino Babers. Worried about their number 7 rushing offense in the country. They got a top 25 defense that plays hard out of a 3-man front most of the time, and they're a good football team. But we can keep talking about all these other things in the world of football and where we are. But I go back and forth on that, and so I think both are good. I don't know if 12's the answer. Going from 2 to 4 to 25 teams, is a mistake. And I just think let's gradually move to the 12 if we're going to do it. Just to make sure you don't mess it up, because once you go to 12, you can't go back to 8. I think that'd be going backwards. So let's, if we're going to get a couple more teams, do it that way. So next question.
I'm going to sit here and accuse you of having a letdown in 2018 with the Miami game after the Wake Forest game. But how do you keep this group, after being so high on Saturday, to be grounded and get ready to play a series?
What year are you talking about?
2018.
Okay, 2018. What happened then?
You've
clinched Wake, you're saying?
Against Wake, and then you go play Miami the next week.
Yeah. I don't. Obviously that was 2018. It was a long time ago, and again against a good Miami football team down there. I remember that one. I remember the next game. We didn't. Again, I'm not sure that had anything to do with. We felt really good after that game. I don't think. I felt like Jimmy Morrissey was out. We had juggled our offensive line. That was maybe one of the biggest areas of issues. And then you run into a Clemson team, and then should have beat Stanford in the Sun Bowl that year, if I believe. If I can remember correctly. Played them really good, but I don't know if that had anything to do with handling success. But we just, we'll find out. We'll find out this weekend for sure up in Syracuse.
That with the guys?
No. 2018?
No, the fact that, Saturday's done, now you got a Syracuse team.
Oh yeah, discussed that already, like we do every week. We close that chapter Sunday night. It's over with, and it's been since 1981. I think I was a freshman in high school that we've won 10 regular season games. I think I mentioned it to you guys the other day. It's been a long time, and to me that means something. And 40 years, something to prove when we go up there this weekend.
Are there elements to Syracuse's game that kind of help you snap them back and say, hey guys, that you've been killed by this team for these reasons? You guys see?
Well, you look at their, I think their defensive line is active. Their defensive end's got 8.5 sacks. Or Cody Roscoe, kid from Texas, is a guy. I mean, they can put pressure on the quarterback. Their D-line coach is one of my former players at Northern Illinois, Vincent Reynolds. I mean, they're active up there, and they're going to put pressure on the quarterback. We've got to protect our quarterback better than we did Saturday. We didn't do a great job, in my opinion. For whatever reason, and whoever's issue there, whether it's a lineman, a running back, a quarterback. Again, they got a good defense. They got a top 25 defense, and maybe the record doesn't show that, and they can run the football. So with Tucker, the tailback that's rushed for almost 1,500 yards, and Schrader, their quarterback, those are two guys that we're going to have to stop. It's going to be a two-headed monster in there. They don't throw it like Virginia, but they're going to try to run it down your throat.
Roscoe's game that you like?
Say it again.
Cody Roscoe, what about?
Again, it just, I think, first of all, their defense plays with a high motor. Okay, I mean, I think they're different than some other three-down teams where they're like, they're not these 340-pound, nose tackles like Saragusa. Okay, they're not, that's not what they are 3-4 wise. But they're athletic. They move around, and so our guys are going to have to block them up front and do a great job communicating up front. And but he's an explosive, fast, quick twitch guy.
Schrader's yards more run than what you've seen from most of the quarterbacks, as far as instead of scrambling to throw, he's looking to run.
Yeah, they are quarterback runs. I mean, they're definitely designated, whether it's a draw, whether it's a counter, quarterback counter. They do all kinds of different stuff, but it's quarterback. They'll run zone read keepers more than anybody that we've seen. I think maybe we have 14 in our breakdown. So they're gonna, they want to get him the ball, and they will. So we're going back and look at every quarterback run that we've had against them for the last 4 years. Looking at the last 4 years, just any quarterback run against us, just seeing, because they're going to get creative. They do a good job of going back and looking at what you've done in the past, look at what issues you've had this season will be critical. Quarterback runs. So they do some whamming of a 3 technique. So I want to say New Hampshire hit us on a kind of an outside zone stretch, which is one of the plays they run for a touchdown against us. So like all those, just going back and saying what's hurt us. We've got to do a self-scout this week, which we will. They just do a good job at bringing stuff up from the past.
Is it Rodney's role, and most specifically, is like the closer, almost for your backs, and that fourth quarter guy sits there and he basically watches for most of the first 3 quarters? It seems deliberate at this point, right? I mean,
yeah, but it's really not deliberate. I mean, he's going to be a terrific football player. He is a terrific football player. Obviously, I mean, when you watch that guy run, his one touchdown, his 1-yard plunge in there was like the hardest 1 yard of the year. I mean, he was not going to be denied. He's a football player, and he's just going to. I mean, I think he had one little protection issue in the game, which hurt us a little bit. But he just gets better every week, I think. He gets more comfortable. He had a great week of practice last week. And, I wouldn't say he's the closer. It's just, you got Vince, you got Izzy. Those are 3 really good tailbacks. And, maybe he gets in earlier this week. Who knows?
You have to be extra careful with guys who are nicked, so they'll be ready to play.
Not really. I mean, that would be a natural question. Hey, let's just go up there and keep them all healthy, and it'd be nice, and play our backups, and be ready for the championship game. I'd love to do that, but I don't see doing that. So
10 wins means something.
10 wins means a lot, and I think we need to have have that chemistry going into that next game too. So we'll keep them healthy and let our guys go.
You've lost 2 offensive linemen, 2 wide receivers, a middle linebacker on Saturday. Does this speak? And you're 9-2. Does it speak to recruiting?
It does. We'll find out. You got to keep staying healthy, but I think everything speaks to recruiting. I mean, that's how your program is built. Is who you're bringing in and can they play? And we had some guys that took over for Voss in there, but it wasn't the same. but they were good enough to win the football game. So, and Brandon George played well. Chase Pine played well, got a lot more reps, and learned a lot from it too.
Yeah, you mentioned after the game that there will be a small segment of sort of preparing for the week after this.
What now?
You mentioned after the game on Saturday that you would maybe start planning a little bit ahead for the title game. I'm curious, you got 3 teams.
Yeah, I'm not, but we got coaches that are, we got graduate assistants, quality control, as I told Sunday, like they're on it. Yes.
Are they required to come up with X amount of film on each group, or is it weighted on how you think it's going to go? Or
No, it's game planning for 3 teams. It's getting all the information into the computer. Basically, what we do is we have all the videotape. So it's what game are we going to break down? We'll break down usually 5 games per team. So they get now instead of usually it's breaking down 5 games, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just to have it in there on the next opponent. So last week we broke down 5 games on Syracuse, okay, plus our Pitt game from which is already broken down from 2020. So we'll have a 6-game breakdown, but that's what they do. Well, now you got to go back, and now they got to break down 5 games on. So they got 15 games to break down, and they got to do it all this week. So those guys, they're the MVP this week, and we don't, a lot of wasted work. 10 of those 15 games is wasted, but it'll be well worth it on, Sunday when we know that we're already ahead, not behind.
does it matter who you play in that game? Do you think?
Not really. I'm most worried about Syracuse and, whoever lines up there, we get to play. Don't matter. Does it matter to you guys? Larry, does it matter to you?
I'd like to see you play Wake Forest, but that's just my opinion.
Clemson's playing a lot better since you beat them.
Yeah. They are. So you want to play Clemson?
I'm not playing.
Just ask you guys. Chris, who you want to play?
I don't probably know.
You don't care. That's how I am. I don't care either. What other questions we got?
Well, that sort of leads me to a follow-up, though. I mean, is it better to play, a team that might be in a situation, you might have an experience edge over? I mean, if Wake gets there, Wake hasn't been there in that situation. Versus,
Have you watched tape on Wake?
Well, Wake's very impressive on
Yeah.
offense.
I mean, Hartman's, we saw, we've watched, everybody's watched a Saturday night game or a Thursday, Friday night game. They're good. If they're in that game, they're a good football team. They've won enough games to get to that game. It doesn't really matter, guys. It's a different game, so it doesn't really matter. And whoever gets there is going to be excited to go play in that game. Both teams.
I know that the answer that you would normally give in this situation is no, but is there any emphasis when you look at what Jordan's been able to put together and Kenny put together? Maybe in this game against Syracuse, there are more opportunities to try and get either of them looks because Jordan's on the verge of maybe being Bolitnikov, Kenny obviously on the verge of maybe getting invited to the high.
You said just get them more stats?
Well, not just more stats, but I don't know. I guess get them more playmaking opportunities in this game, even if you guys say get a lead.
We're going to throw it to the open guy. And, there's certain plays that go here and go there, and based on coverage dictates a lot of things. But, Kenny gets the ball every snap, so he gets it, But, no, we're not going to do anything different as far as, we're going to try to win a football game. And, I don't want guys throwing into coverage trying to make a play. We're not worried about, those awards. I mean, it'd be nice for both of them, and but trying to win a football game. That's good.
One of those guys that doesn't have to be open, right?
True. I mean, he went and snagged that last ball. I think Kenny thought the guy, number 8 had fallen down, so I think he didn't even see him as he threw that one. I think he just laid it out to make sure it was a completion, didn't overthrow it or underthrow it. Also, that guy snuck in, and Jordan, that was a great catch. So, yeah, but, a lot of times he's open, though. And there's a lot of times maybe he doesn't get the ball when he is open, and so.
What did you see after you watched the video from your pass defense from Saturday?
A couple times guys not doing their job, trying to help out, that same issue we had a few weeks ago at Miami. And again, a few good scheme. I mean, you got some schematic things that, just they're lined up and empty, and they're going to, you're spread out. And, we got 5 sacks on him, but we couldn't get pressure. I think he did a great job of getting the ball out of his hand and finding the open zone when we did blitz him. So, pressure was not good unless we got him to 3rd down and long, and he might have completed it, but it was short of the sticks, and they had to bring their punt team out anyway. But they did a good job, throwing the football, and that's what they've done all year. They've shown they can do that against everybody. But they didn't run the football, and that's one-dimensional. a lot of times you win those football games.
Do you feel some of the maybe doing too much got increased maybe because of communication issues without Sebastian?
A little bit of communication. We had some of the fronts a little bit more disconnected there, and again, just it's an athletic thing. I mean, Sebastian can cover the field. He's an outside linebacker playing middle linebacker, and it's like it's like having a nickel Mike backer out on the field. He's just and he's got a great nose for the football. So those that's certainly like playing the run this week. Brandon George fit perfect into that. Chase Pine fit perfect into it. Last week you'd like to have 3 more DBs on the field. To be honest with you, we don't have enough of those.
Pat, if you look around college football, there's some programs that have success, and the guy has a little bit of issue and he's gone like immediately. This guy at Florida yesterday kind of ran into that buzzsaw. You look at this league,
The head coach you're talking. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
You Clausen, there were some guys in this league who are having success, and administrations have stuck with them not that you've had a terrible run, but at some schools, like, they would be like, all right, after 4 years, we're done. It seems like Pitt is committed to you, you've committed to it. You view this year sort of the benefit of the patient approach to kind of how that team built.
I think so. I mean, just to me, it takes time. It takes time to develop an offense. It's taken Whipple 3 years to get it to where you like it, and your kids know what's going on. They feel comfortable. I mean, I think anything that's going to be great takes time, and sometimes people are impatient. I mean, Dan Mullen's won a bunch of championships down there. I think 3 New Year's 6 bowls, and all of a sudden, he's not having a great year this year, and all of a sudden, he's a good football coach. So it's a shame, but it's life in college football.